A famous thriller writer hires a young nanny to care for her children while she works on her next big novel. But what begins as a simple arrangement slowly turns into something far more dangerous. The nanny, Grace, is sweet, innocent, and strangely seductive, and soon the writer Mary finds herself drawn to her in a way she never imagined.
Do is make you happy.
Their closeness grows with each passing day, blurring the lines between fantasy and reality. But behind Gray's charm hides something far darker, something that will twist Mary's world into obsession, betrayal, and even murder. Because in the end, the women she welcomed into her life isn't the same women she thought she knew. So let's begin from where it all started and watch till the end to find out how their lesbian love story turns into something that you never expected. The story begins with Mary, a retired author who lives a peaceful life with her husband Tom and their twin children. She is not only a caring mother but also a loving wife. One day, her publisher friend visits her home with an assistant, offering her a massive deal to write her next big novel. But Mary has already stepped away from writing and firmly refuses. But they are trying to convince her very badly and also offer her a upfront deal. But Mary says no and asking them to leave. However, in the end, the assistant said something brutal to her. That night, when Tom comes home, he notices the contract and is shocked by the huge amount they are offering. Feeling guilty, he confesses to Mary that he made a bad investment and urges her to accept the deal, reminding her of their fragile financial situation. Mary shares everything with her best friend Aline, even asking for her advice while the two are relaxing in a bath. Aline encourages her to take the offer and continue writing, but also reminds her that she will need help with the kids if she wants to focus on her work. To make things easier, Aline gives Mary the number of a nanny agent. Without wasting any time, Mary decides to start looking for the perfect nanny. So Mary immediately begins interviewing all the nannies available, but none of them seem to check all her boxes. One after another, every candidate feels wrong, and just when she is about to give up the search, Grace walks in. The moment Mary sees her, she feels an instant connection, a kind of a positive vibe that makes Grace stand out from the rest. To make things even better, Grace turns out to be a book lover, and for Mary, that's a huge reason to choose her. On the top of that, the way Grace naturally connects with the kids makes the decision even easier. So in the end, Mary happily selects Grace as the nanny of her twins. Grace begins working the very next day while Mary makes sure to thank Aline for pointing her in the right direction. Mary dives into her new novel, spending long hours in front of her desk, while Grace makes sure everything at home runs smoothly, caring for the twins and even looking after Mary herself. One evening, while Mary is in the bathroom, she accidentally steps on something sharp and cuts her foot. Grace rushes in immediately, almost too concerned, carefully tending to her wound. That moment of closeness leaves Mary feeling something she can't quite explain. Wanting to show her gratitude, Mary decides to buy Grace a gift, and together they go shopping. But while trying on clothes, Grace makes an unexpected move, a move so bold it completely catches Mary off guard. From then on, Mary's thought began to change. No matter what she is doing, even during an important meeting with her publishers, her mind keeps drifting back to Grace. The innocent young nanny has become more than just help in the house. Mary feels a pull, an attraction she never imagined she would experience. With each passing day, Grace's presence in the house becomes more intoxicating. Her charm, her seductiveness, it all grows stronger, and Mary begins to feel emotions she's never experienced before. The two women are constantly together, sometimes laughing over little things, sometimes dancing as if no one's watching, and at times Grace breaks down in tears, hugging Mary tightly while confessing her painful past. These intimate moments only pull Mary closer, blurring the line between friendship and desire. But Grace's attention isn't just on Mary, she also tries to get closer to Tom using the same subtle seduction, and that's deeply concerning. Mary feels the jealousy creeping in, but she's too tangled in her own emotions to step back.
I see so much of myself when I look at you.
Meanwhile, Ellen, her best friend, begins to notice the changes. She sees how different Mary has become, distracted, vulnerable, almost obsessed, and she wants her, trying to pull her back before it's too late. One night, Grace crosses all the limits with Mary, drawing her into a closeness she's never felt before. But soon, Mary feels stressed and confused, unsure of her own emotions, and just wants to sleep. Then, in the middle of the night, she hears something and sees Grace with Tom. Her mind spirals, trapped between desire, jealousy, and doubt. What is real and what is just her imagination? Determined to uncover the truth, Mary calls the nanny agency to learn more about Grace, only to receive a shocking answer. There is no record of Grace at the agency. No one by that name has ever worked for them. Mary is stunned. That night, sleep eludes her completely. Seeking comfort, she rushes to Ellen only to find her best friend murdered. Even worse, the murder weapon carries Mary's fingerprints, and CCTV footage shows a woman who exactly looked like her at the scene. Tom confronts Mary the next morning, revealing that she wasn't in the bed for 3 hours the previous night. She had vanished, yet she has no memory of where she was. The lines between reality and illusion are now completely blurred, and Mary doesn't know who to trust or who she has become. Mary feels completely trapped, desperate for answers. The only person who might know the truth about Grace is her aunt. When Mary meets her, Grace's aunt reveals a shocking fact. Grace suffers from a mental condition. After that, we see how Grace first found Mary. It all began when Mary and Ellen were discussing the idea of hiring a nanny, and Grace, who happened to be working nearby, overheard their conversation. Determined to get closer, she even tried to get the job at the nanny agency and cleverly obtained Mary's address. Though she never did land the job there, this was how Grace eventually found her way into Mary's life. After learning the truth, Mary rushes home only to discover that Grace is attempting to kill Tom. In a desperate struggle to save him, Mary tries to call the police, but Grace stops her, torn between aggression and an unusual desire to protect her. It's in that chaotic moment that Mary finally realizes that the shocking truth: Grace suffers from a severe mental disorder. In the end, everyone is safe. Mary reunites with her family, grateful for their survival, and she also visits Grace, who is now being cared for in a special mental facility. I hope you loved this video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.